got that right. But yeah, look at the Luma drip. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what's even crazier, Blue? Every single one of these Lumas are perfect 7 SV. Like, how do you do that? How do you get so many perfect 7 SV Lumas? Leave it to Mr. Doomaga to get that done. But you know, just because they're pretty, you still have to make all the good plays. So let's see if Doomaga is able to get those good plays rolling. It looks like he's not going to be able to play with the Volar in there.
All right, 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃 picked up here from 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶. I haven't seen 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃 a lot recently. Obviously, when the 𝗬𝗃 was first released, 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃 was one of the first ones that stood out as like a potentially good addition, especially pairing with a bunch of the other nature temps. So we'll see what 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃 decides to pair with this. I'm probably leaning towards that perfect jab into Water-Cutting Lily that we used to see. So we'll probably be seeing one of that. I'm wondering what Doomaga will pick up to start off as well. It's not like he has an exact one-for-one counter for this 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃 anyways. So 𝗬𝗪𝐿 gets picked up.
Yeah, you know, I could also see that 𝗵𝗵𝗃, right? With that Synergy Master being on both 𝗬𝗃s, WCL with the Water Synergy, with that 25% Synergy Adept trait on both of them. It is destructive. I know we've seen it in the past. Those WCLs are ridiculous. So you got a good point. How is Doomaga going to try to hold on? It looks like he's going to try to go for the double Crystal Temp opener to try to counter this double 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃. I mean, this is going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure these guys can live, but can they really dish out the damage before that other turn comes around? And then they just do the 3 priority plays again. So this is going to be a hot turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll be probably seeing what kind of burst Doomaga can deal before the 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝗃 combo comes through. It really does depend on the speed on the dual Doomaga side. So yeah, so the back pocket 𝗬𝗵𝗃 and Scunch as well will round out 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃's team. We'll see who takes the opening here. I do lean towards the side of Doomaga here a little bit. Should be able to clear out one of these Tems. But
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're thinking about it, obviously 𝗬𝗪𝗧 has that double kick online. And then, you know, one of your favorite techniques, that massive CPG with that 25% increase on the 𝗬𝗵𝗃 attack. These guys are already clicking their buttons. Let's see how much damage these WCLs are going to be doing. And it looks like he's going after 𝗬𝗪𝗧 way more than 50%. If the second one comes in, that might just be a dead 𝗬𝗪𝗧.
The War Drum bonus damage is right there. 𝗬𝗪𝗧 doesn't even get the chance to move. The Water-Cutting Lily should secure the kill, and it does. The 𝗬𝗪𝗧 will get picked off without getting an opportunity to move. The CPG does come through for Doomaga, but the opening play already favoring heavily the side of 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃. Obviously, the 𝗵𝗵𝗃 taking more than 50% HP as damage should deter it from staying, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see. I like this. Maybe he was prepared to give up the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, because now you have that nature synergy for that 3 priority hasty lunge. And 𝗂𝗀𝗄 being a naturally fast Temtem, he should be able to outspeed one of these 𝗬𝗃s, if not both of them. And we did say they were synergy adept, so we know that is going to be doing solid neutral damage to these guys. So I think the 𝗵𝗵𝗃, it might just be out of here. 43% should be more than feasible for that one hasty lunge to get across, but everything stays in. Hasty lunge does come out, and oh, barely going, but it does take it down. Well done.
Yep, solid pick off there. Water-Cutting Lily will come through as well, doing damage to the 𝗂𝗀𝗄, but we should be okay. Just below 50% HP. Sharpening actually on the 𝗬𝗬𝗃, so buffing up the 𝗬𝗬𝗃, trying to get that one step up to become a bit more of the carry later on into the game.
Yeah, that is definitely setting up to be quite the raid boss indeed, right? That is 75% increase, so virtually right there on the door of double damage, and it does neutral into everything, right? Into the move flank, Scunch, 𝗬𝗵𝗃, and even that core. So this is going to be a massive heavy hitter for Doomaga, and is still sitting pretty at that 100% HP. So, you know, it was looking a little bit rough letting go of that 𝗬𝗪𝗓, but from this position, now those WCLs on the Quish are no longer 3 priority because they don't have the water synergy to their right-hand side, right? So
Yeah.
maybe Doomaga, maybe pulling that upper hand with that sharpening. Great play by him.
Absolutely. I mean, once there's enough sharpening, right? It doesn't matter it's neutral damage. It just basically means the damage output will be rated E for everyone. So, you know, we'll see how this will pan out for the side of Szax. The Moflank does come out. So we'll see how much damage this dynamic duo can do.
And you know, Blue, did you happen to see 𝗵𝗴 trait appear? I don't think I saw it, so...
No, I do not. I don't think I did.
Okay, so most likely going to be that unnoticed trait. So here we go. Hasty Lunge number 2, doing less than 50% there, about 45. Oh, and it was a 𝗵𝗴. We missed it. It did do Goring first turn.
Yeah, absolutely. So Goring does come through. The bait does proc, however. So that'll be solid. Water Tongue Lily will come out, though. Trying to do damage, and it will take out the 𝗂𝗀𝗇𝗵. So now 2 attempts down for Doomaga. The CPG, though, is trying to go 1-for-1, and it does. So the Nature Coach does get picked off as well. So a 2-for-2 so far. But the 𝗬𝗵𝗴 certainly taking that additional damage will be integral later on, especially if the objective is to pick it off before it can get any stronger. But now you got the dynamic duo going on the board, right? You got the Scunch and the Moflank now with that perfect jab into Goring, base jump. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see indeed, because yeah, this is the good old 𝗬𝗪𝗺 meta, right? As you said, P jab followed by a heavy physical attack. This 𝗬𝗵𝗴 might not be able to live that. Can it get off at least 1 CPG before all said and done? No, the base jump just coming in way too fast. 𝗬𝗵𝗴 unable to move. I mean, he was at +1 speed. That move link is just really fast. Or maybe Doomaga click Frond Whip. I don't know. I don't know if he actually clicked Frond Whip. I think this is just a speedier move flank, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. 𝗵𝗴 is procced here, as well as that fake beard. So this 𝗬𝗪𝗺 will have to do some work, as the 𝗬𝗵𝗴 being eliminated is huge here.
Yeah, it was low-key that little bit of a raid boss. The Savage Suplex gonna be doing quite the number on 𝗬𝗪𝗺. I dare say I might just think a single Goring cleans it up, but no, 𝗬𝗪𝗺 naturally really fast, so gets off the Tsunami. It doesn't have any special attack buffs as of right now. Oh, the held Anger Blue. This is gonna be massive on the 𝗬𝗪𝗺.
Absolutely. The one-shot obliterating the 𝗬𝗪𝗺, unable to do anything about it. The Goring will follow through, pick up the Scunch, but it's Roller versus the world. But there's still a 𝗬𝗵𝗴, there's still a Moflank. If the Roller manages to pick up the Moflank, there may be a case here, but Frond Whip is still available potentially later on as the holds get removed. So it's going to be a struggle no matter what here.
Yeah, that 2v1 situation is always a struggle, as you said, especially the sharply being effective. Reactivile will be proc and try to nullify any of those nature damages coming in. But look at the stamina consumption. Rotor just all the way down to 0, so has to overexert to get anything done. I think at this point, 𝗬𝗵𝗴 has it all locked in, right? As soon as the Nullify runs out, but forget about it. Might as well just try to dish out more and more pain. This Rotor just hanging off by the smallest of margins so far.
Absolutely, the held Anger will do it, but yeah, 10% HP, no stamina against a 𝗬𝗵𝗴 that's still standing. The overexertion drops to 1.4, but there's absolutely nothing he can do to deal with this 𝗬𝗵𝗴.
And that is right. GG Szax gonna be taking game number 1 from this first round 1 of our winners bracket. So getting it done, I believe.
I think perhaps trying to get around that. I mean, obviously the most common thing is run it back, fake it out. But no. So the Nature Coish is banned straight up. Doesn't want to deal with that. I believe the previous ban was the what was it?
I'm guessing the Minotaur, since we didn't see it. And Minotaur looked pretty juicy into Doomaga's team, so that could only be the other ban. But we'll see. Now it's not banned. I'm wondering if 𝗧𝗵𝗺 just going to be elected to just pick it up this time, right?
Potentially. I mean, we could see the Mimic Scunch opening just obliterate something straight out the gate.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could be potentially spicy, but we'll see what Doomaga opens with to deter any Mimic shenanigans, but it's hard to deter anything with the Mimic shenanigans, especially when there's not quite the coverage here to stop it. Like, it's not like, well, you could run 𝗬𝗵𝗶 and the Volarant opening, right? You apply Toxic Plume, get those attack down, so you deter any of the opening attacks like that. But I actually now realize 𝗧𝗵𝗺 doesn't really run any special attackers. Now that I look at it, it's all attack.
Yeah, you're totally right. So something like an anaerobic Volarant with a strange vest would be a huge counter to 𝗧𝗵𝗺. But hey, maybe he just knows he needs to gun it down before it starts getting a little bit too crazy to take down.
Absolutely.
And hey, one way to take down Temps fast is exactly as you pinpointed before, that Scunch. It would have been nice to see the double Scunch, but I think Rotor, he's the menace of the meta, right? He is pretty much the #1 Temtem in the entire game. So much so that I believe he's finally going to be receiving a little bit of a nerf come December 5th when that new update comes out. But for now, let's see how he's going to be doing, because apparently both sides have a Rotor. Just one of them looks a little bit different than the other. But they have the same techniques most likely.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Rotor going to be absolutely bonkers here. The 𝗬𝗃𝗃 opening here should pressure out this opposing Rotor. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point. It does have her rewards, so turn one 𝗬𝗵𝗃 is definitely available to him. Keep it. Oh, this is gonna be with the wind synergy, so adding a little bit more damage to the 𝗬𝗵𝗃, as well as the freeze. So wait a second, Doomaga might be trying to set up a freeze potential with something like a cold breeze coming out from this Luma Volarant in the second turn. We'll see though.
Absolutely perfect jab is followed through by the 𝗬𝗃𝗃. But yeah, the slingshot as well. Speed boost is going to be spicy. Drill impact though on that 𝗬𝗃𝗃. Surely this doesn't die in one shot. No, it doesn't. So 30% will be able to get a move off. I mean, maybe not. The Scunch already speed boosting up, so 𝗬𝗃𝗃 may be outsped already by the Scunch.
Yeah, as you said, it does have that +1 speed, so it does have things like Savage Suplex. I'm wondering though, if you're trying to read the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 swapping out, maybe you try to Savage Suplex as Volarant, because we did say in the pick and bans, the biggest counter to 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is going to be that anaerobic Strange Vest. Do we know if it's anaerobic? But no, the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 stayed in. And it looks like he's going to be paying for that, staying there, going all the way down. And the 𝗂𝗶𝗃 not fast enough, right? This might just be an aerobic then.
Yeah, it's absolutely aerobic. So, unfortunately there, the freeze does not come out in time as the Volarant is not fast enough. But yeah, the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 being picked off again, off on the wrong foot, I suppose, for Doomaga at this point in time. The 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗃 does come in. But 𝗧𝗵𝗺 should be able to trade pretty efficiently for damage here. We might see a Toxic Plume just to straight up slow down the offense a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I love that. A T-Plume right here. As we said before, everything's physical, so a nice little 33% reduction on every physical technique coming from the Scunch, coming from 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗃, and it's going to be massive. And if 𝗧𝗵𝗺 just swaps into anything, it's still going to be a massive amount of value. So I do like the T-Plume. Maybe 𝗧𝗵𝗺 wants to try to play around it, because it seems like maybe doing it on the Scunch that has something like Ninja Jutsu online, maybe you don't want that to have that 33% reduction just yet. So I could almost see it I don't know. You swap into like the Mimit, you copy your opponent's 𝗵𝗵𝗶, and then you have double crystal birds on the board. I'm not too sure. I mean, either way, is looking a little bit of a tougher spot for Doomaga for now, but not completely out of it just yet.
Absolutely. So the Toxic Plume does come out here just to attack down. That is huge. And yeah, so the bait is procced as well. So no Toxic ticks will come through for that 𝗵𝗵𝗶. The CPG does follow. CPG trade as expected to pick up the Scunch, and it is so successfully while it was frozen. So getting that down. But I believe swapping in the Roller now should be pretty good.
Yeah, Rotor, or honestly, everything just looks solid. I was about to say the move flank, since we know it was a Hurry Warp move flank, as we're seeing on the screen right now. So that turn 1 Goring looking quite nice. We know it's no longer anaerobic, so just trying to focus down the Volant doesn't seem like a bad idea, since it does have the sweatband, right? Usually with the target, that's kind of like people's win conditions when you're wearing that sweatband, because you could just keep on dishing out the pain turn after turn. So might as well deal with it as you can. But Doomaga here to play, going for the HKS, a whopping 60-ish% down the move flank goes. I wonder if a CPG is enough though from this Luma 𝗵𝗵𝗶.
So the CPG trades the Volarend, and yeah, as you mentioned, we'll see 𝗵𝗵𝗶 is committed into the Moflek, and it does do enough damage, but now no 𝗵𝗵𝗶 for that Roller. That's coming in most likely. There is still a Toolcon available, so the burn and the damage reduction will be huge here once it applies to both these Temps, especially with the 𝗵𝗵𝗶 still attack down as well. Marbles as well applied. Actually, no burn. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, you're right. No burn, so it's gonna be a Pyromaniac Tokon. So it's not a Heater Tokon.
Okay.
A little Pyromaniac. So there's one Temtem that doesn't want to be here, and that is gonna be the 𝗵𝗵𝗶 on 𝗧𝗵𝗺 side, right? One little 3-prio Fiery Soul is gonna be obliterating the 𝗵𝗵𝗶. With that said, that does make the plays quite readable, because the only Temtem in the back line will be the Mimit, which is going to be copying the Rotor. And that's actually a little bit scary, Blue. 2 Rotors on the side of 𝗧𝗵𝗺. Is that too much for Doomaga to handle? It's going to be tough, though, because dealing with 1 Rotor is already tough enough. So we'll see. It looks like he is going to be making the swap to the Mimit. So let's see what Doomaga ended up doing for this turn.
So Mimit the swapped in double Roller. What's worse than having 1 Roller plus having 2 of them on the same screen? Drill Impact is applied onto the 𝗵𝗵𝗶, only doing about 32% damage. So not quite gonna bring it down to any dangerous threat levels or anything. But certainly we'll see what these Rollers can apply, how much pressure they can apply, because I believe all damage from both sides here should be neutral, except for the 𝗵𝗵𝗶, which is either half or front, or the 𝗵𝗵𝗶, which does double. So these Rollers are actually in a little bit of a predicament. Tornado is committed.
Yeah.
To do more damage, it doesn't quite get there. Goring is gonna trade. 𝗵𝗵𝗶 almost goes down. A second Goring, will that be enough? And it is!
Huge. I was thinking if 𝗵𝗵𝗶 could get off a final front whip, that would have killed at least one of the Rotors, most likely targeting the bigger Rotor. But now it is down for Doomaga. The final 2 Temtems. Can he get the job done? I mean, they're kind of low, but they held Anger a little bit too fast. Gonna be thrown at the Tokon there, so whopping 70% damage going down. He does end up killing the Mimit. But wait a second, you still have stamina. You're applying the ticks of burn onto Rotor, so nice 30% reduction. Wait a second, Blue. Oh, never mind. Goring, right? Goring from 𝗧𝗵𝗺's Tardy Rush Rotor. I believe that always outspeeds the Fiery Soul, right? If it wasn't Tardy Rush, this Tokon could take down 𝗵𝗵𝗶. And then the 1v1, I think Doomaga would favor there.
Yeah, Goring gonna come through, finally picking up that Tolkien, but as you mentioned, the Roller nearly going down with the burn damage. Oh, now the front whip, the trade, the damage is huge. And the nullify finally coming in, but the Rolder not dying. This is lowering the chance. I think the nullify is actually putting the Rolder down worse off, because now 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴's damage is fully neutral. ZPG coming through, so this is going to be fully committed. Actually not quite enough. Only about 17% damage. Maybe less, maybe about 60%. I don't quite remember exactly. But the Rolder does get picked off, so it's about Rolder versus 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴. The neutral buff is about to wear off, but the 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴 is also out of stamina. Well, both of them are. Sharp Leaf, though, okay, chipping away.
Yeah, chipping a little bit away. And you know, Blue, something that we didn't pinpoint before is that that's going to be a -1 attack because of that Toxic Plume. So maybe there's a window held. Anger trying to take it down, but the front whip.
There it is.
You're right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough. Maybe if the Rolder had a little bit more time, that could have been something. But the Nullify actually detrimenting at the end there, because again, the CPG wouldn't have done so much damage.
Back weekly champion. He looks to be having a great run so far. And we are currently in turn 5. So let's go ahead and hit the scoreboard. And okay, everything's alive except the Saku. There we go. Saku usually one of the more nuisance type Temtem to get rid of. But Spectruhh doing a great job already getting rid of it nice and early. So let's see if we can keep that pressure rolling, because that's the one way to take down these stallier teams, is pretty much you want to rush them down before, you know, that window of opportunity kind of expires, if you will.
Only hold Momo, but I mean, yeah, you have to kill them off before they get going. But look at this Momo already. +4/+4. This Golder not set up yet, but Spectruhh already drained of all of the stamina on his 2 first attempts. This is very huge in the sense that, I mean, Genosect right now, there's just way too much stuff to kill for just 2 attempts. So Swap is finally forced here into the 𝗬𝗧𝗪. We'll see what the Agglom can do by its lonesome, but the Bamboozle will protect that Momo, letting it just rest up a little bit more. As the Agglom gets the stamina back.
Yeah, you know, speaking of massive, as you said, this Momo is looking crazy, right? Already double defense, double special defense, and inching his way into double special attack as well. One more refresh, which he might actually pull the trigger on this turn, is looking mighty juicy. These two right here, time and time again, Momo and 𝗀𝗄𝗀 are basically the win condition for Genosect. One of them's a special attacker, one of them is a physical attacker. But let's see. They're both, you know, we rarely see him on the same board together. Does he go for a refresh, or is he trying to put some pain onto Spectruh's board? Because he does have a heavy hitting Undermine if he chooses it.
That bait is huge, but the refresh, as you mentioned, is going to be committed, just giving the Momo +2 more stages of special attack and that stamina reset. So very, very solid here.
Yeah, solid indeed. So, you know, I don't think he's clicked Undermine this entire game. I think it's time, Bloom. I think it's time. You're at +4 special attack. I'm pretty sure Undermine definitely kills either of these Temtems. Of course, Agglom has Evasion and 𝗬𝗪𝗪 has Mirroring. So maybe this is probably the most ideal board Spectruhh wants to try to, you know, eat that underbite with. So we will see. It looks like 𝗀𝗀, because it most likely has that baton pass, gonna be swapping in, swapping out later down the road. But in comes the mom's lunch. Let's see. It doesn't do too much to the 𝗬𝗪𝗪s because they already had the bait.
Oh, okay. So committing into the left spot here, completely ignoring the Momo, which still has that Undermine. The Agglom dies to the mom's lunch exhaustion. Shelter as well, continuing to buff. That is huge! 884 special attack on this Momo, and I don't see no Toxic Temps a mile in sight for Spectruhh right now.
Yeah, Blue, I didn't know you were giving out zip codes out here. 884 is just the stat bonuses for this Momo. Unreal, unbelievable, right? Maxed out defense, maxed out special defense. As we just said a couple minutes ago, these are the win conditions for our previous champion, Genosect. This is just what he does. As soon as you let him set up a little bit too crazy, which it looks like it happened this game, I don't think there's a world this Momo goes down. I mean, I can't even think of a world. I mean, maybe Chap has a window. He's saying freeze. I guess you could freeze Momo, but freeze isn't going to be doing damage, right? You're still at +8 special defense, and you could even recover with refresh, right? Refresh is a 6% heal. And I think there's even things like Sedative Rain to heal as well. So I don't want to say this match is over, but I will say Momo is a menace. He's looking crazy strong right now.
Unfortunately, not named Dennis. Tornado will be committed into the 𝗶𝗵𝗶, will survive. And the first aid kit will ensure that it goes above that, almost to that 50% threshold. Does go back to 28% HP, but the damage, the effort is just not quite the damage output is not matching the amount of sustain and defensive stats on the side of Genosect right now, and Spectruhh is bleeding dry of stamina, which is the problem.
Yeah, I believe that Tornado the previous turn was trying to read a Mom's Lunch. Golds are coming in, but catching the 𝗶𝗵𝗶, so Genosect is making some proper reads in this game. But let's try to take a look on this. You know, I don't want to count a Spectruhh. He obviously has a game plan going forward. So 𝗬𝗪𝗓 still has some good stamina. The 𝗬𝗶𝗰 still has some good stamina as well. You know, he has a crazy amount of buffs on Momo. However, you can't say the same thing about this 𝗂𝗀𝗆. So perhaps there is a little bit of room to take down this 𝗂𝗀𝗆 before it gets crazy with those tireless procs down the road. So something like a C-Bite into a Sharp Rain, if he's running it on 𝗬𝗰𝗆, that actually might just be enough to take down the monkey. But it could be dangerous if he swaps out Golder in this spot, right? Because that's going to be an overexertion on the 𝗬𝗪𝗓 and the 𝗬𝗰𝗆. So his Mom's Lunch is one of stall players' best gears, right? It makes your opponent really have to think. But hey, everything stays in, so let's see how it plays out.
Nami is committed onto the 𝗶𝗵𝗶 and the 𝗂𝗀𝗆. The helicopter kick as well should commit to the kill. No, the 𝗶𝗵𝗶 living. That is so unfortunate. The helicopter kick trade doing a lot more significant damage onto the 𝗬𝗰𝗆. The 𝗶𝗵𝗶 getting the Divine Inspiration off will be so good for both these Temps. Special defense, stamina reset, heal. Absolutely getting the maximum value of this pig down. Now 3 Temps remaining for Spectruhh here. And again, the table is not pushed in his favor at the moment. There's just too much sustain.
I think so as well, but you know, I do love that play from Spectruhh. He tried to play towards his out. He was trying to kill the 𝗶𝗵𝗶 with the least amount of stamina consumption as possible, right? With that tsunami and heli kick, but surviving by, I think it was like a single percentage point or something. But man, if that 𝗶𝗵𝗶 would have dropped down, you wouldn't have gotten any Divine Inspiration that following turn. So that could have been a massive win, or a mini win, if you will, in that turn. But now things, as you mentioned, looking like you're going a little bit the other way against Spectruhh. Mom's Lunch coming in. Momo, as we said, the biggest raid boss we've ever seen in these games. Momo coming in, eating that water cannon like a champ, right? A true champ. And now everything's online. Undermine looking devious for 𝗂𝗏, even for the rotor, right? It doesn't have the most special defense involved, or you know, base stats rather. So I think it's time, Blue. Do we finally see an offensive technique on this Momo, Blue? Do you think this is the turn?
Potentially. Yeah, this might be the turn where you just start undermining everything. I mean, there's not really anything Spectruhh can do to stop it. There's not enough burst damage on the table to do so. Golder's still at half HP. So the 𝗂𝗏 will be swapping out here for that 𝗬𝗪𝗓. We'll see if that Undermine actually goes in the 𝗂𝗏 spot. 𝗂𝗀𝗆 is committed. The Golder drops to below 25% HP. Undermine actually going with the 𝗬𝗪𝗓. So this was the GOAT. Mirroring does a lot of damage, but unfortunately not even below 50% HP. Toxic Ink will slowly chip away at this roller. Not the most initial damage, but the Toxic Ink should make up for it.
Yeah, so hey, there it goes. Spectruhh finds himself with the final 2 Temtems to his name. That Momo finally did click an offensive technique, so takes down the 𝗬𝗪𝗓. as you mentioned, did get a little bit of how would you say it? A little comeback damage from that mirroring trait. But hey, throwing the water cannon, funny enough, onto Golder. Maybe expecting a bit of a swap out, but I think this Drill Impact should be enough. So he's just trying to ignore that Momo, right? That's a dangerous game to play, especially considering it's a heavy damage dealer as well. But I don't think you have any option, right? If he goes for like a Bamboozle to protect the Momo even further. So I do think he had to get rid of the Golder. At least that's the best play he had that turn. But now, both of the true win conditions for Genosect on the board. But these are two pretty much the strongest Temtems on Spectruh's side as well. So things like Goring, things like AWW are online. Let's see how he let's see what he ends up clicking for this round.
Yeah, Aquatic Whirling, gonna get committed, finally gets picked out. The Fainted Curse comes through, Drill Impact, doing a bit more damage onto the Momo. 6% damage. The other mind goes, I bet. You'll see what real damage looks like. Picks off the 𝗂𝗏𝗃 straight up there. The Goron just gets swapped in, but does not require a Goron to take down this Rolder, unfortunately. Undermine should blast this Rolder out of the game with 4% damage as your 6% damage, sorry, as your maximum. It's gonna take way too long for the damage to be done. Hook kick will come through. Maybe put out the Rolder from his misery. Yes, it does. Obliterates the Rolder, and that will be that. Genosect takes that win.
Yeah.
Starting off on Mr. Redmoon's side, we'll see who takes this one. I don't. So we'll see what Agglom's team is looking like here. Ooh, the 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, it looks strong. 𝗬𝗏𝗃, 𝗬𝗏𝗃, Tókon that surprisingly enough we're not seeing so much of. I think Tókon took a step back because we kept seeing a lot of Redmoon type teams, right? 𝗂𝗏𝗃, double water, giving Tókon a bit of a tough time, right? Because those Tókons was virtually everywhere. But because Tókon was virtually everywhere, a lot of water Temtem started appearing. So hey, here we go. I'm happy to see Tókon coming a little bit back into it. But more importantly, to your point, Blue, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is such a great Tem, especially looking into the team of Redmoon, right? You have things like Sharp Leaf, Outgrowth for all those waters, and even the 𝗧𝗵𝗶 down there. And then you have things like Embers, Flaming Meteorite for things like the 𝗬𝗏𝗃. You do a good amount of damage on 𝗂𝗀𝗇. Even, you know, 𝗬𝗚𝗚, that's going to be double damage as well. So 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is looking like enemy number one if you ask me, but Minotaur also a big problem. So I could respect Redmoon getting rid of Minotaur, but that 𝗬𝗏𝗃, I wouldn't be too surprised to see it picked up nice and early.
Absolutely. So the Volarend for the side of Mr. Redmoon, who will see what the pairing is. 𝗬𝗚𝗚's probably a solid choice here with the Roller showing, but of course it's still a Tókon, it's still a 𝗬𝗏𝗃, so might be a bit spicy. Maybe this is a bait to pick one of those two Tems. If anything, we'll probably see a ban on the 𝗰𝗶𝗃 if one of those two Tems does get picked up here for the side of Agglom. But yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 will be picked up. Mr. Redmoon banning one of the non-Tókon Tems will probably get the 𝗂𝗏𝗃 ban here, because it's sort of leading Agglom towards that double fire. And of course, Mr. Redmoon running double water might be a huge issue. I say might, definitely be a huge issue. So, deciding what to ban here, I mean, removing the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 maybe to get rid of the toxic options.
Yeah.
𝗬𝗚𝗚 is also a solid choice.
Yeah, a little bit tough. I mean, 𝗬𝗚𝗚 looks good because it does have those plagues, the resin traps. You only have one win Temtem if you don't have the 𝗬𝗚𝗚 down the road. So maybe 𝗬𝗏𝗃 was a little bit of a problem for him. I'm wondering though, was it a bigger problem than perhaps that 𝗬𝗚𝗚? I mean, 𝗬𝗚𝗚 has pretty low defenses, so I think Redmoon just feels confident that something like the 𝗬𝗚𝗚 might just be strong enough to deal with the 𝗬𝗚𝗚. But 𝗬𝗚𝗚 can't really deal with 𝗬𝗏𝗃 all that well, right? Naturally tanky Temtem, that's what 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is. So hey, I can respect the bans, and let's see how it works out for this game number one of this best of 3 series. On the other side, it looks like Agglom wanted nothing to do with that toxic Acronox, which is probably pretty solid, right? It had Earth techniques for something like the 𝗬𝗬𝗃, and then it had toxic for 𝗬𝗬𝗃 for the 𝗬𝗵𝗶. So hey, I can respect both of these bands. It looks like they're doing awesome. But speaking like we said earlier, double water Temtem just in case the Tokan does end up getting picked up. So let's see. And whoa, guys, what's going on? Are we getting followed by guys? Why? How?
No, it's not follow bots. I was about to say no. It's Agglom's fans. They just suddenly showed up in the chat. They're calling him the GOAT. And we'll see if the GOAT gets it done. With his team here versus Redmoon. We'll have to see 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏 versus that roller 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃.
There we go. And guys, I appreciate that very much, guys. Keep the excitement rolling. Now, you guys are excited. We are excited. Appreciate you guys very much. But here we go. A best of 3 series. Agglom, who apparently is the GOAT for a lot of people in chat. I mean, a fantastic player. But guys, we can't sleep on Redmoon. Redmoon, a fantastic tamer as well. So we are in for an epic showdown. So let's see. It's going to be starting off with the Plague. Massive amount of damage. But is it a reactive Vial rotor like the rest of them?
We'll see. It has that nullify, gets that healing off as well. Noxious Bomb though is gonna be huge, as the nullified state just gives it a little bit more damage. We'll see what the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 decides to do. Embers might get committed here. No, Drill Impact will go through first. Molder with that Strange Rest though gonna absorb that hit a little bit more, actually committing to the double hit on the Volorant, so that's a surprise. So trying to pick up the Volorant straight up. Doesn't want to deal with that later on in the game. We want to remove that factor from the threat of from threatening the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 and the 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏.
Yeah, that's right. You know, most people will keep it straightforward, trying to go for the Embers on 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏, but I think he sees that Volorant way bigger of a threat onto his Dino, right? Toxic is one of the few, if only, technique that is actually effective into that a mythical Dino, right? So trying to get rid of it ASAP, and I can't blame him, right? It seems like a good line of play. But the question is, can you take it down with 2 more techniques? Can something like a Goring followed by, I guess, the same Embers be enough? I guess we're going to find out here. Resin Trap, even though it's going to be nullified, it should be doing a good amount of damage, down to 18%. Is it enough for the Volorant to close things out? Let's go ahead and find out.
Noxious Bomb committed. The roller should live from this hit, and it doesn't. Unfortunately, I lied. They'll get picked off. The roller taking that damage. Meteor Swarm though, looking for that double kill. We'll see how much damage it does. It does pick up the 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏, but the Volorant will do just fine. Anaerobic sustaining and surviving through that physical damage.
That is right. So hey, Redmoon doing a great job taking down the rotor. However, the bigger threat, I will say, I mean, obviously rotor is a massive threat, but 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗏 still hanging in there at a full HP percentage is dangerous, right? Things like Outgrow 4 online, I believe he's going to be working with something like Sharp Leave. All those techniques are going to be effective to the majority of the Temtems in the backline for Redmoon. And you can't say the same thing, right? Water techniques are going to be neutral, but that is it, right? It is a fire Temtem, but also gets countered by the nature typing from those water techniques, right? So instead of bringing the water, he does bring in 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏, but that seems scary too, right? I think things like Flaming Meteorite are online. So perhaps a little bit of a bait and switch, or this could be some real mind games here, because 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏 is a bit dangerous. So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting turn. This 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗏, though, looking massive so far.
Helicopter kick committed. Doing a bit of chip damage, but the water cannons should do a bit of more damage, and it does. 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏 dropping to just above that 60% HP range. The bait does proc, though, protecting it from any other status additions. Noxious Bomb continuing to rain down this 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. Actually, no, the 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 will be taking that to the chin. Doing a decent chunk of damage. The Outgrowth will try and clear out both of these Tems once more. The Volorant should take a heck of a lot more, and it does drop, or well, it doesn't, but it takes 8% HP, but the 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏𝗏 drops to 35%, 0.6.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I believe Plethoric has been eliminated from 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, so perhaps 𝗬𝗬𝗃𝗏𝗏 is the fastest Temtem on the current board. With that said, we do know 𝗬𝗵𝗶 now has access to Tornado, so this is looking a little bit problematic for the side of Redmoon. Tornado does go first. It gets directed at the Voliran, so it could close the book on Voliran. But can 𝗬𝗧𝗔 try to take down the Dino before it's all said and done? Here goes the hook kick, 39%. Oh, rough. Just down to 8, so this flaming meteorite will be confirming a double kill for the side of Agglom. Well done, sir.
Absolutely. So the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 gets picked off and the double kill is completed. Agglom forcing Mr. Redmoon down to the last 2 Temts, both the water Temts. We'll see what they can do here. 𝗬𝗬𝗽 and 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 still in the back. This 𝗬𝗬𝗽 gonna be a problem. So concession does come through. Agglom takes game 1.
Is there a world where he makes a bit of a comeback? I mean, he has knowledge now. He knows that dinosaur is ferocious, right? And he's gunning down every one of his Temtems. So perhaps trying to ban it. Or he might have liked the Minotaur ban. I mean, we'll take a look. He has a couple options here.
Yeah, absolutely. He has a couple of options. Definitely has to adjust as the double water strat did not in fact work this time. It didn't get a chance to work, if anything. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, and interesting. So he doesn't go for the Minotaur. He doesn't go for the Tire Knock. He goes for the Rotor. That's the one Temtem that he had an easy time taking down. But hey, Redmoon has a game plan. He knows what he wants to get done. So he eliminated the Rotor. So wants to start things off with the Voliran, which is good, right? Voliran was an easy Noxious Bomb user for things like the Tire Knock, for things like the 𝗬𝗬𝗽, and both of those Temtems are really good into Redmoon's team. So I like this opening pick. But oh, what's good against the Voliran? It's going to be Minotaur paired up with the Nature Temtem. But okay, counter pick 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶. If there's a turn 1, glass blade, it could be nice against the Minotaur. But we do know 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 most likely doesn't have a crystal technique on that opening turn. So this could be a free electric technique as early as turn 1 against the Voliran. So a bit of a tough spot. However, I do like these 2 Temtems picked up for Redmoon. I think this is about the best he could have got here.
Yeah, for sure. So 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶. Damn, Mr. Redmoon team giving me flashbacks. Look at that. It's clean, solid. Nothing wrong here. Back in the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 meta. Let's go. But yeah, so getting those picks. We'll see what Mr. Agglom decides to back pocket here. So then they're just so straight up here with that 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶. Interesting. So already complete mix up with the 𝗬𝗏 band. So completely mixing it up. 𝗧𝗵𝗆 gets picked up here as well as the 𝗬𝗬𝗽 for the back pocket. So the question will be whether or not we lean towards that fire bird or that water bird. So we'll see.
Yeah, one of the birds will be indeed picked up. If I'm looking at it, well, hey, it looks like we get our answer. Either way, he's going for the 𝗬𝗵𝗆. So a nice little water wind bird getting picked up. Agglom just 1 win away from locking in the winners finals, guys. 1 win away and he gets there. However, Redmoon, as ambitious as ever, wants to get there as well. So he's down 1 game right now, so needs 2 to catch things back up. But hey, solid Temtems for both of these guys. As we said, things like Hasty Lunge will be online against the Voliran. So does he want to maybe try to read that and swap in, that 𝗧𝗵𝗆 in the back? A little bit scary though, because 𝗬𝗬𝗽 kind of checks that 𝗧𝗵𝗆. So you might just need to stay in, and yeah, exactly right. Just try to gun down 𝗬𝗬𝗽 as soon as you can.
Hasty Lunge committed, doing so much damage here. On top of that taser, applying that burn, helicopter kick, doing a bit of chip. 𝗏𝗆𝗆 to trade this Voliran taking so much damage. We just started the game. 26.0% HP remaining. The Noxious Bomb doing 30% less damage. Actually quite significant there on that 𝗬𝗬𝗽. Trying to pick it off. And here's the problem now, right? Below 20% HP. Another 𝗏𝗆𝗆 should do it, should kill off that Voliran. So Noxious Bomb probably won't come through before that kill does follow. So maybe we'll see something committed, something faster from the Voliran. It's just a bit of a compromise spot there for Mr. Redmoon.
Yeah, you know, good play for the side of Agglom, or for both sides. I mean, one thing though, 𝗬𝗂𝗽 is also wearing the Strange Vest, so no wonder that Noxious Bomb did so little damage, right? Because it was wearing the Strange Vest, usually low defense, high special defense, but with that Strange Vest, going to be flipping those on his head. So yeah, eating the Noxious Bomb as great as it can be. However, it's a little bit susceptible. And hey, as I say that, the hasty lunge closing down the Vulrin, the hook kick, not most likely enough because of the Strange Vest. Yeah, not enough, but man, the balls on that Minotaur staying in against the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, right, Blue? That is crazy.
Yeah, that is brave as hell. The 𝗬𝗪𝗧 now trapped in, now 60% HP. The mirroring does do a bit of chip, but now this 𝗬𝗪𝗧, you know, again, has to decide between a Minotaur and 𝗬𝗂𝗽. 𝗬𝗂𝗽 living at 10.7% HP is huge, because, again, put some pressure off the Minotaur. Probably will get swapped out anyway, just to make sure that the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 doesn't get another free hit in. But this 𝗬𝗂𝗽 has to go down.
Yeah, you know, just back-to-back tremendous amount of value for this Minotaur, right? It doesn't overexert because of that nature synergy, and with that 𝗬𝗂𝗽 Strange Vest, has managed to live on the board a whole lot longer than most 𝗬𝗂𝗽s. So great build so far for Agglom, getting so much done with these just these two Temtems alone. And 𝗂𝗏𝗃 doesn't feel all that safe as well, right? Another hasty lunge being at +3 speed, most likely the line of play. You know, I could only assume he's swapping 𝗂𝗏𝗃 here to try to bait another hasty lunge, because it didn't seem like he was getting too much damage. But hey, maybe he's just trying to read what's coming in, but instead it's gonna be a Ninja Cell, so 𝗂𝗏𝗃 not feeling all that great. But let's go ahead and find out.
Sharp Stabs committed into the 𝗬𝗂𝗽, will get that pick off as desired here. The water cannon as well, falling through the Ninja Cell, but Ninja Cell taking quarter damage, completely negating that.
You know, I ended up liking this 𝗂𝗏𝗃. Now you got things like Aquatic Whirlwind online for that 𝗬𝗪𝗧 in the back line, so it does end up working out. However, now you have to be a little bit careful, because now Ninja Cell, things like Allergic Spread, things like Toxic Ink, everything's online for that Ninja Cell. So 𝗂𝗏𝗃, it takes damage, or it takes effective damage from every single one of Ninja Cell's techniques pretty much. But hey, I think this is what Agglom wants, right? He brought in 𝗬𝗪𝗧 to say, you know what, Redmoon, I know you want to leave in 𝗂𝗏𝗃. I know you want to AWW this 𝗬𝗪𝗧. So maybe just leave it in. And I actually don't know who it favors more, because I think 𝗂𝗏𝗃 gets a whole lot of damage across, so this could work out for Redmoon as well.
Water cannon committed though, trying to pick off the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, doing a solid roughly 34% damage, but the bait will protect it from any further status additions that may come through. On top of the Invigorate as well, a couple kick will get the maximum efficiency amount of damage to 𝗬𝗪𝗧, dropping to 40% HP as a Crystal Bite comes out, dropping the opposing to 25. Toxic Ink, though, will secure the kill. The 𝗂𝗏𝗃 guaranteed next turn. So we'll probably see an Aquatic Whirlwind here committed to picking off a Tem. But now Mr. Redmoon most likely going down to 3 Tems, and Agglom still has a swap available to eat that Aquatic Whirlwind. Of course, the 𝗰𝗶𝗃 and the Minotaur probably going to be fine to those.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, Blue. I think the swap is going to be devastating for the side of Redmoon, right? AWW, if he commits that onto Agglom's 𝗬𝗪𝗧. Oh, everything stays in, so not overthinking it. I love this by Redmoon. Sometimes you end up overthinking your situation, thinking that the 𝗰𝗶𝗃 was going to come in, so gets rid of the 𝗬𝗪𝗧, not too shabby. And hey, the monkey comes in, so now things like Seismunch Wreck will be online. But that's only good against the Minotaur, not so good against the 𝗰𝗶𝗃, but you do get the 𝗬𝗂𝗽 potential in here to try to check the 𝗰𝗶𝗃 as well. So things are getting tight. Things are getting closer as we approach the end game in this round number 2, or apologies, game number 2 of these matches. So hey, exactly as we said, right? 𝗰𝗶𝗃, 𝗬𝗂𝗽 come in. So man, how is it gonna pan out here? Because everything almost checks everything, right?
Yeah, this is this is a bit of a problem right now, as the 𝗬𝗵 is a huge threat. The Plague, though, doing 70% damage. Water Cannon committed onto the side punch, nearly killing it off, but it doesn't get picked off just yet. Reactive Vial procs, then giving it another turn as well. The Size Punch Wrench is gonna commit, trying to pick off either of these Tems, but the damage is not there. The you might have been better off maybe landing a punch instead. Toxic Ink will commit to the 𝗬𝗬𝗽𝗶, but now Mr. Redmoon running out of options.
Oh, and wow, a massive refreshing Diabolo. We don't see that item here all the time, right? A massive recovery. 𝗬𝗵 on death's door. Maybe something like a 𝗬𝗵 would have been enough for the 𝗬𝗵 to go down. But now hanging out at around 45% HP, a 𝗬𝗵 no longer enough. However, just because the Plague was a potential threat there, he does swap into Minotaur, which I guess was what the... Yeah, this is what it should have been on the 𝗬𝗵, right? 𝗬𝗵 into Hypoxia on the Yggdrasil. Is there a world the monkey lives? I think Yggdrasil... Oh, the monkey does stay around for another turn. Is that the room he needed, though? Or is a swap to 𝗬𝗵 just too much, right? This is close.
Yeah, this is looking very spicy. The Minotaur, 67.1% HP. They're just still kind of getting there. It'll be straight down to the speed battle here, but the Gallus dropping to 40% HP. Again, this will be all boiling down to how the speeds will pan out for both these attempts. Hasty Lunge will get committed, so the Minotaur will get that pick off on the Size Munch. Now, the Sharp Stabs trying to one-shot the Minotaur, and it does! And will get that kill. Yggdrasil with the spores. Toxic ticks will be damaging as well, of course, with no bait available anymore. 2 turns remaining on this Gallus. Probably less than that, as the damage from the Yggdrasil with another hit should secure it. Tornado even will make sure that this Gallus goes down, and Mr. Redmoon will fall to Agglom.
That is right. So Agglom, what a tremendous tournament run so far. Undefeated, not undefeated, but going on a victory streak, landing himself in that winner's finals position, you know, one step closer to inching himself into that grand final seat as well. So
this is Szax versus Mr. Rishi. I believe this is the final losers bracket game, at least for me. Or is this...
I think second to last, but hey, Blue, don't even worry about it. If you need to step out, Blue, I could do the last one. I could just do the last one real quick, because I know it took a little bit longer than expected. So don't feel bad, Blue. If you need to step out, just let me know.
Oh, no problem. I can do this one, and then we'll see with the next one after. But yeah, the roller gets banned. Scunch as well for the side of Szax. And I mean, we've seen this combo before, the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 double wombo. Mr. Rishi, though, prepared already with the Acronox and the 𝗂𝗀𝗃, so will be able to respond in kind.
That is right, and yes,
these drafts so fast, actually. Whoa!
You know, Blue, that's just professional players, right? When these players have hundreds, if not thousands of games under their belt, they just know exactly what they want to do. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. So yeah, I know what you mean. These guys went really fast in the picking bands. But let's see, Rishi over here, Monka S for the double 𝗏𝗃. But we do know 𝗏𝗃 is 4x weak to Toxic, right? So Acronox has things like Sting, which isn't really the strongest Toxic technique. But if you follow that up with a 𝗂𝗀𝗃 attack, is that enough? I mean, this is going to be tough, though, because we saw how impactful the double 𝗏𝗃 is or was against the Gyalis. Is it going to be doing something similar to either the Acronox or the 𝗂𝗀𝗃? I could only assume most likely the Acronox, right?
Yeah, for sure. So Acronox actually gets swapped out here for that Tataroo. And the Hasty Lunge committed into the actual 𝗏𝗏𝗃, doing a lot of damage. So 44% HP worth of damage. Water Cut Lily cutting through this 𝗂𝗀𝗃. Actually, no, going through the Tataroo. So dropping that to 45% HP. We'll see if the double watercolor lily goes to the same spot, and it will. So this Tataru was just straight up dead. The dynamic duo, once again, doing its work, just picking off everything in the turn 1. That's we saw it previously from Mr. Rishi, and now we're seeing it again.
You know, Blue, Tataru usually pretty tanky, right? It's usually a decently tanky, you know, in the past we've seen like first aid kit Tataru, so it's not used to going down in a single 2-hit KO, right? That's just a little nod to how powerful this double WCL is, and here we go one more time.
God. Here we go again. Acronauts dropped to 42.6% HP, and if the synergy goes through before the 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵 gets a chance to move, that's another kill! There is no way Szax just gets a double on Mr. Rishi. Up to Tem straight up, and there's no answer. 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵 gets that Oshidashi off, will try and punch his 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵's lights out, and it will, but the damage is huge. The damage has been done.
I think so as well. That was pretty much 2 Temtems taken down, or I guess you could say 1 Temtem for 2 Temtems, right? Because everything else is really healthy on both sides, but one of them has 1 extra Temtem. It could perhaps give a little bit of an upper hand for Rishi. I don't recall what trait he has on that Grandpa, but if it's a last rush trait, you could have a little additional, I believe 20 to 30% additional damage on your techniques because you are down on a Tem. So maybe Rishi could try to use that to his advantage, but still, he has to, he has to really climb pretty tall here because he does have a big lead so far in terms of 10, and now the hurry word move flank coming in. So let's see. I think now is where the game starts slowing a little bit down because everything was just dying, right? Everything was just dying left and right with those double 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵s, but now I don't think things are going to be going down as easily as before, right? So this should be interesting going forward.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, the Mole flank and the 𝗬𝗚𝗚 come in and still again favoring being a full temp up here for Szax, swapping in that Grandpa now with the 𝗬𝗚𝗚. Goring does get committed into the 𝗬𝗚𝗚. We'll see what the option here is. The resistance match and the ward room actually doing so much work here. The bait protecting a little bit, but the hypnosis actually falling through. We'll see where that goes. Actually puts a Grandpa to sleep, so now 𝗬𝗚𝗚 just get focused down here by the Mo flank. Helicopter kick will apply some pressure, putting the movement down to 53% HP.
That is right. You know, that's a massive hypnosis. Usually Grandpa is the one Temtem applying those hypnos. The sharp stab gonna be waking up the Grandpa though. What a massive turn. The turbo choreography, just making sure that both of these Temtems will be the fastest Temps to move. And with 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵 being overexerted, that's only gonna be 1 attack from Szax. So was that exactly the one turn Mr. Rishi needed to try to turn the tides of this battle? Because that was mega, right? Now HKS is hitting a bit harder. Now hypnosis are most likely always going first. That was a huge turn. I mean, man, leave it to Mr. Rishi to try to turn things around. That was epic.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that solid kill in the HKS coming through, getting the Mo flank pick off there with the HKS. The Watercolor Lily will try and answer, but the 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵 should be fine from this. So 44.5% HP remaining. The 𝗵𝗵 overexerting once more, and now the 𝗬𝗚𝗚 with the swap out down to 27.7% HP. The 𝗬𝗵𝗶 coming in instead.
Yeah, you know, we did say that last rush was going to come into play, and it kind of did. That Hyper Connect Strike did a little bit more damage because of that last rush trait, so well done. Now, evening the board in terms of Temtem advantage. Out comes that overexerted Nature 𝗂𝗫𝗇𝗵. In comes the Minotaur Turbo choreography number 2. So that is +4 speed on the following HKS, but Oshidashi obliterating the 𝗬𝗵𝗶. Oh my goodness, I think Rishi might be doing this, guys. Is this a little bit of a comeback after a whopping performance early on from Szax? This is insane.
Yeah, so Szax now down to 2 Tems, and Mr. Rishi with 3. This fight turning so fast. The 𝗵𝗵𝗶 taking the HKS to kill. Now the Minotaur stands alone against 3 times Mr. Rishi, completely flipping the script with the hasty lunge, removing the item once more from the Minotaur.
Yeah, unbelievable, Blue. I think Rishi just did it right, because what's in the back line, Blue? That's a 𝗬𝗧. He just used his black hole, which was the only effective or just neutral technique against the 𝗬𝗧. Everything else is electric, and 𝗬𝗧 should be able to bear the force of every single electric technique. And you can't say the same about a Crystal Bite / Sharp Stab coming in. Turbo choreography just for good measure. Little salt on the wounds, but I think Rishi just pulled it out. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that pick off down, turning that fight the entire way around as well. Huge.